Hey guys, Ellie from Project Gecko here. Today I'm going to talk with you about geometry, especially when it comes down to room clearing. Alright, let's go. First of all, it's really important to understand that CQB divides into two main concepts. The first is slice-based entries and the second is dynamic entries, or as we refer to traditionally as dump entries, DUMP. Now, in slice-based entries, most of the room clearing is happening outside. Most engagements also happening outside until we really have to move into the room. In dynamic entries, most of the contact or consumption of the angle is happening already in the door or from the moment that the assaulting is already inside. Alright, so let's go through the angles. Now, the thing is, first of all, in our concept, we want to fight with what we can see, not what can see us. Alright, and it's very important to understand that through that door, there is a set of angles. So let's go through the angles. It's really important to understand that in reality, not all rooms are just a box shape. Alright, we like to look at it in the following way. We have three types of rooms that you can find very often in every building or store or whatever. The first one is going to be a box-shaped room, the second is going to be a L-shaped room, and the third one is going to be a tabular room or a linear room as we call it. Those three shapes are quite consistent. I'm welcoming you to check it in Fireplane in every building you will visit, and you'll see that they repeat themselves. But let's get back into the topic. When it comes down to any room, whether it's a corner fed, center fed, box shaped, whatever, the room splits its corners into two types. We have the hard corner, and then we have the easy corner. EC and HC. Alright, easy corners are corners we can see from outside, meaning I don't need to go into the room and I always have that wall between me and my threat. This is not necessarily a cover, but it's a very good concealment because again, people don't shoot at what they cannot see. Hard corners are corners that I'm required to get through the door in order to physically clear them. I cannot see that corner from outside. In a short rooms, well, you will be able to clear it. In the deeper rooms, I can't. Alright, I got 0, 90 and 180. Those are our main reference point. Between those angles, we have a lot of small angles. And the truth should be told. I can't see everything at once and I can't shoot at everything at once, right? Normally, I'm working with every angle at a time. Now we have here 0 to 180. We can argue about sizes and whatever, but this is what we have. So I have a lot of small angles and I want to address and understand every angle at a time. Because if I'm just running into the room and I'm already shooting at the 90 degree, I'm already committed to all of the other angles, right? So our system is based a lot on understanding these angles. So let's go. Alright, let's go through the angles. So as you can see, I added here numbers. 0 represent the right corner, 180 represent the left corner. Small remark, even if it would be a corner fed room, it doesn't matter, the same thing remains the same, I just don't have the right corner. Then I have a 45, 45, 90 degrees, and a narrow. I'm going to go really quick through these angles, and then I'm going to explain how this understanding of the angle connects with our concept of nadir. Alright, so let's go. First of all, N stands for narrow. The narrow angle is a very thin angle, depends a lot on the width of the door. For example, with wide doors it will be bigger. Essentially that angle allows me from a very early moment to see or scrap just a little bit of this area. Again, in most rooms in reality I won't be able to see or pinpoint the corner, but if someone is going to hide there, especially a guy who is big or whatever, I can see the hands already. So from here I can not only see if someone is waiting for me, but I can already orient what's happening. Do I really want to clear this room or not? This angle is also very good in terms of stoppages. If I experience here a double feed and I have to pull back to fix it, the narrow angle is a very good place to do it because it's a very tight bottleneck-like perspective. Alright, let's go forward. 45 degrees. 45 degrees allows me to have a flank perspective into the room. In terms of position, which I can't show it right now, it is a very comfortable stance and also offers me a very nice concealment in terms of threat perspective. Next we have the 90 degrees, which essentially divides the room. So if I'm coming from here, I will have already one part of the room covered, alright? 90 degrees allows me to see the center of the room. In terms of counterterrorism or active shooter or stuff like that, this is where all of basically the party happens, alright? This is the center of the room. Also the area where you are most likely to encounter someone. Here, perspective-wise forward, I have a very good concealment, alright? But when it comes down to perspective from the right side, you can see the part of my body. So again, it's good and bad. Next we have the 45 degrees, which is essentially the same like here, but in the opposite direction. Why we call it 45 and not 150? Because again, we want to represent the idea that those two in mechanics are the same, all right, technically. After 45 degrees, we have the 180, which is obviously a corner, all right? So this is the general reference point that we like to work with, all right? So, all right, now that we talked about the angles, I want just to say that, look, I'm not going to explain now how to do here a tactic on black and white paper because I don't believe in it, but I just want to explain to you how we can utilize this concept or this acronym into room clearing, right? Or what is the phase of progress basically in room clearing. Now, many of you saw in our videos and in our courses maybe that we work very gradually and very slow around the door. A lot of people will think that, hey, you know, why this guy stays in the fatal funnel? I mean, if I'm standing here, I'm gonna die, right? So no, this is actually not what's happening. What's happening is the following. NDIA, narrow. First of all, we are approaching from the narrow, using it as a orientation point. We decide if we want to do it or not. All right, we commit to the room. Next phase, divide the room. We start to slice, 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 slice. We have different methods for that, but I don't want to get into it right now. As I divide the room until the 90 degrees, I'm able to get already quite a big picture and perspective into the room and what's actually happening in the room. For example, already here, I can determine what is the threat level in this room or what is the complex level in the room. For example, if I have two doors here, already by now, I know that I need to prepare an additional manpower for this or whatsoever. And all of this happening while I'm still outside without committing to many problems at once, all right? So this is the benefit. So again, narrow, divide the room. If I decide that I want to start slicing more and more and more, we're going into the next phase, which is isolating. I'm starting to isolating the other part of the room, and basically, as I isolate more and more and more, I have a corner which has the highest chance or likelihood to have a threat, isolated more and more. As soon as I isolate the corner, then again, it depends a little bit about how big the door frame is and so on and so on, I will move into the attack. Now in the attack phase, we have several options regarding how we can attack that corner. Again, I don't want to go too much complicated into it because, as you know, CQB is it's a little bit complicated in comparison to other things, but we have different options to do that. So again, NDIA or Nadia, narrow, divide the room, start to isolate the corner, and then attack the corner, all right? So this is our concept. Again, you need to practice it, you need to understand and see it. Again, there is a lot of stuff you don't see from the camera, and yeah, I hope that made sense for you. Take care.